really lives all the way out here? Surrounded by Aether? No one to talk to for miles and miles. Ooh, gives me the shivers.
Sis.
On your left, Captain.
Great work.
Yay, okay. Sorry, I got my mic working again. All logs written stored on this terminal are the property of Hephaestus Mining Corporation. Employee logs are subject to review by management and security at any time without prior notice. Please select the log you wish to view. Happy birthday, Julia. A visiting board team reminded me of the date. We should be celebrating your 42nd birthday today. I tried to get you drunk with the latest Rizzo's concoction. You turn up your nose and say it was nowhere near as good as earth wine. I don't know where you are, big sis. It's been 13 years since you entered hibernation, since the Hope started its journey. I don't know what happened, why you never got here. If the architect is kind, you didn't suffer. I think about you all the time. Every time one of the big interstellar conveyors blazes past, I look up and hope. Hope. Whoever named that damn ship should take a walk into the aether. I'm so sorry. I never should have convinced you to sign the indentured contract and join me on Halcyon. I'll never stop thinking about you, Jules. Please forgive me. Ask Linda for info on the Sublight Company. The freighter captain claimed to work for them. Very strange ship, no corporate branding or colors. The captain didn't wear an approved uniform. Dealing with him left me feeling out of sorts. Had some interesting items for sale, though. Can't shake the feeling that they, quote, fell off the back of a conveyor. That captain sold Harris something called a rearranger, then left before he discovered the damn thing doesn't work. Only thing it rearranges a number of bits in Harris's cart. Looks like some strange tech. Maybe a scientist can take a look at it. Oops. So what is this thing? One-handed melee weapon. Figure Max, what's your one-handed? 137. This weapon was created by an unknown and possibly quite deranged scientist. Exactly how it works and why is a mystery and has never been duplicated. But I don't get it. Okay. It says to look for clues. But clues where? Oh. I just now discovered the mining outpost. Okay. Map. Accept. See where the map actually takes me. Okay.
Well, I did not expect you back so soon, Captain.
Oh, it takes me to Monarch. I don't need to go to Monarch just yet. Need to go to Stellar Bay. Oh. Parvati! I got your cleaning supplies.
Yeah, so this is my hidey spot now.
You're not really
I was
hiding.
looking for a place that was quiet. I figured the kitchen would be louder than the hold, so here I am. Cozy like, ain't it?
You met that auto mechanical clanking around the ship yet? So here's your soap. I got the soap you wanted. You were with me when I got it. You learned trade from your father. It sounded like it when you talked to Reed.
Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office near all my life. Mr. Thompson never let me forget how funny that was.
I don't see the humor. Did your dad ever work on spaceships? You work beside your father?
Except for my schooling years, I was always beside him. Or tied to him. He used to carry me about in a sling when I was real little. When I got older, he set me to sorting tools and parts while he worked. Later, he taught me simple fixes like busted crate latches.
Did your dad ever work on spaceships?
Not on the regular. Once in a great long while, a Saltuna boat would break down on the pad. He'd always bring me along for those. Mostly, he did the same as me. Kept Bess, the cannery, running. Turned loaders, plumbing and electricity, some plastering. I never got the hang of that.
Reed seemed to have it in for you.
I'm not exactly a model employee. Not like he wanted. The kind that stays quiet and gets the right work done in the right order every day. It's not normal for anyone to do as their parents. You take a vocational test. That decides your schooling and your career. When I tested out for maintenance, everyone figured it was on account of my dad. They were real unhappy with us.
Oh, why?
Well, because they were hoping their own kid would get the job and get sent back to Edgewater. When folk go away for schooling, they don't get back to where they begun. Not usually. You go straight to your first job, wherever the company's got an opening.
Wow, that's sad. Yeah.
I reckon you could say, no thanks, I don't want a job. But then you don't got a job.
But you're actually good at this and you enjoy it. You went out to do tests. Yeah.
They're powerful good tests. They rattled off this whole list of names we'd worked on, with fancy bits hanging off them. Doctors and esquires and the thirds. Even if you don't believe they actually catch what everybody's best at, everybody's got to take them. So at least it's fair-ish.
But you're actually good at this and you enjoy it.
Well, I'm good at making things work the way they ought. Not so much at doing such to somebody else's schedule. There's times I'm working deep in the guts of a loader, getting it all running perfect. Then I look up to see it's tomorrow and I've blown another deadline. Anyhow, I was happy to get back home. I didn't care much for schooling.
After school, you didn't like your classes. You didn't like your classes?
There were a whole lot of reading, not nearly enough doing. Like, before they'd issue you a wrench, they wanted an essay on the design of different wrenches. Then there'd be quizzes on company regulations for storage and maintenance of wrenches.
What'd you do in your time off or after school? Yeah, what'd you do in time off?
As soon as I got permission, I spent all my time in the machine shop. They had all manner of parts, but they didn't want me using them, so I had to sneak them sometimes. I even slept in there. Had a hammock tied up in the rafters. Before I left, I installed a little
Nobody saw
skylight
that.
for myself, so I could see the stars.
Aw. Didn't have your own room? They never caught you? Never got in trouble?
Teachers came through now and again, looking for slackers or contraband, but I was always working. They liked that. Otherwise, I tried not to call attention to myself. Just stay quiet in a corner, and I'll get overlooked.
It's so
When my
sad.
roommates tried to talk, I'd get so nervous I'd be drenched in sweat. It was easier for everybody when I stayed off on my own. I doubt any of them remember me now.
After school, you moved straight
Yep,
back to Edgewater?
nothing much had changed. Everything was a little grayer, a little dirtier. Dad met me at the shuttle and gave me a big ol' hug. I noticed straight away that he was moving slower and stiffer. He made a little grunt when I squeezed.
Aw. Did you get much time with him after you went back to school
About
or
a
got
year.
back from school?
I tried to do more of the work so he could rest. His heart gave him pains. Dad never said that he loved me, you know? I knew on account of him showing it. How he'd stay up late to help with my projects or listen to my fretting. Oh gosh, look at the time. Sorry to bend your ear so long. And I got so much to do before this ship's in decent shape.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm at the auto mechanical.
Oh, you mean Sam? He's just the sweetest, ain't he? A real charmer, my dad'd say.
He's a cleaning auto mech. Have you given him a nickname?
Nah, but I've been thinking on one. Gotta get to know him better, I think. Maybe ask him what he prefers. It ain't nice to give folks a nickname without him giving you the okay first, you know? Of course, that don't stop Felix.
Right. Got that soap you wanted.
Oh, let me see. Oh, mock apples and cinnamon? Oh, it smells like a warm kitchen. Like coming home on a fall evening. You're the best, Captain. In her messages,
should have had her
Junlei
choose
said
it,
her
but
mom used to make this dish
I
for
like
Monarch.
apple cinnamon.
Dustback casserole, saltuna and xenogold needle mushrooms. And then for dessert, there's a thing called, sweetheart cake. It's made with almond paste and wax gourds. There's gotta be some place in Stellar Bay that can bake a casserole. And I heard
Guess we're
tell
going
there's a
to Stellar
Rizzo's town
Bay.
near there called Cascadia, what specializes in sweets.
Alright, we'll figure it out.
Thanks, Captain. I know I'm asking an awful lot, but I'm sure it's gonna be worth it.
Watch, she gets turned down. That'd be so freaking sad. Are we on that quest? No. Hawthorne's Terminal mentioned Black Market and Groundbreaker and Fallbrook. I already bought them though. Okay. Don't know why it's that. Space Crime Continuum. So Stellar Bay, Monarch, and Stellar Bay, Monarch. So let's go to Stellar Bay, shall we? Okay, is Stellar Bay Almar? Yep, okay. Stellar Bay.
Captain, an unusual wavelength is coming through Monarch's aether wave frequencies.
The eternal is in us all. The OSI would have you believe that your place in society, indeed in the universe, is preordained. A man who works in the mines of Hephaestus, coating his lungs in mercury dust for not but a few bits a night. This fate is set in stone? When he dies young, coughing up black blood, his part in the grand plan? No, I say. Greatness is in everyone. Not just those so fortunate as to have been born into prosperity.
That was
Agree.
unexpected and odd.
I love her like raised eyebrow. Seemed interesting. I'd like to hear more.
Considering the origins of the transmission, I imagine you may have such an opportunity when we visit Monarch, Captain.
I'll be back. Alrighty. Let's boogie. Continue. Raising your determination heals your companions when you use your inhaler. I'll have to remember that. Okay. Grim. Is there a way down? Oh. Oh, this place is falling apart.
Hey, hold on there. Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must be new to Stellar Bay. You are new here, right?
You seem surprised. Yeah.
I knew it. See, I made what you call a logical deduction.
Mm-hmm.
You must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. There's only 3
Did
of
I?
them these days. Still, they tend to scare folk off.
What are they doing out there?
You may not have heard, you being new, but Stellar Bay hardly ever gets off-road traffic. Us being cut off by the board and all. Which means I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing, so here goes. On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest sal tuna and halcyon. Please state your name for the records.
Alex Hoffman.
Swell. There's one for the logs. I'm even gonna give you your own entry code. I'm not supposed to do that. It's against procedure, but Mr. Sanjar isn't so strict about the rules here. Besides, I got a lot of empty entries to fill.
Is Stellar Bay really that isolated?
We don't get ship traffic in town. Only off-worlders who do make it out here are sublight. They got a base in Fallbrook. And thank the stars for them, or we would have run out of Rizzo's Purple Berry Crunch years ago.
You're not what I expected to find on Monarch.
Oh, that'll just make Mr. Sanjar's day if you tell him. The board makes up lots of nasty stories about raptidons and cannibals and whatnot. But that's all outside our walls. Mostly.
Mostly. Are you saying the board's been lying about this place?
Oh, sure.
We already
They
knew
make
that.
Stellar Bay sound like a rotten place, but it's not so bad. Get a good breeze going, and the sulfur smell mostly covers up the fishy smell.
Ah, the nostalgic stench of home. Can't say I miss the day-to-day of living in Edgewater.
Anyway, Mr. Sanjar's got lots to say on that subject. Kinda goes over my head, though.
I'm gonna have a look around town.
Mr. Sanjar will be mighty pleased to meet you. If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I did a bang-up job of welcoming you?
Sure, Grim.
Oh, and if you're headed that way, maybe you could do me a favor?
Maybe, Grim.
I got this Rizzo's Rangers tossball poster coming in on the next sublight shipment, signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard anything in a while. You think you could check with Celia to see if it's come in?
God, people are like obsessed with a sport. Who's the Black Hole?
That's Bertie Holcomb, only one of the greatest tossball hackers ever.
I wonder if he's kin. Dad had family that worked for Rizzo's. I never got to meet them.
Everyone's heard of him, even on Monarch. We still get some of the games. You been living in a sulfur pit or something?
No, in a freezer. But why is he called Black Hole?
On account of him being the best hacker who ever played, nothing gets by him. He sucks up every ball that comes his way.
Maybe word that differently.
Well, Holcomb's had a lot of nicknames over his career. Used to be the tallywhacker on account of what he'd
jeez.
do to the score. Before that, he was the slick stick, because his shots were always so smooth.
You're making this
I
up.
swear I'm not. At the start of his career, people called him the hack boss, but no one thought that was very catchy.
Sure.
Thanks a bunch. Celia works for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building next to the bar. She's always there, so you can't miss her.
Do I have any junk to sell? Got a model spaceship. Oh yeah, let's buy ammo. Have to steal it. Okay, so there's a couple places for me to go here. What quest am I on? Find sweetheart cakes. 67.55. Oh, that's out.
Right here. Velma soon out of sorts too. She's always cranky.
Okay, where are you?
Help! Someone's been killed!
That didn't sound good.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. I just about pissed my jumpsuit.
Sorry, didn't mean to startle you.
Most people don't. Besides, this place is enough to try anyone's nerves.
Ever thought about leaving?
Only every day. But in case you haven't noticed, we don't exactly get ships on a regular basis, yours notwithstanding. And even if I did scrape together enough to buy passage out with sublight, which would mean reaching Fallbrook without getting eaten, shot, or dissolved into green goo, what then?
You forgot stabbed. That's also a
Well,
possibility.
thank you for reminding me. As if I weren't already destined for an early grave. That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back. before the board tucked tail and ran. These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Here's a menu.
Oh, yikes. I can't cover this much, Captain.
3,000 bits? Yeah.
What? No, Captain, I don't want you to do it this way.
It's all right, miss. I'm a coward at heart. Made that clear from the outset.
Yeah, he kind of did.
Look, Captain, this is the best I can do without putting myself out of business.
Okay.
I'm mighty glad you reckon so. This is gonna take about an hour in the oven. Nothing I can do to speed it. That's just how cooking works.
Yep, I'm familiar.
There we are. Now, if you don't mind, I really need to take a leak.
My belly's gurgling just to smell it, Mr. Raymond. Thank you so much.
A pleasure to help such a charming young lady. You're a gentle soul, miss. Be careful with this one, all right? She's kind of a brute.
Oh, gosh. My tum's rumbling just smelling that casserole.
I'm not a brute. I just want to get stuff done. Oops. I accidentally bought something. I don't want it.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
What happened?
I clean the apartments while everyone's at work. I've seen all sorts of messes, but this... If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is.
And that's exactly where I'm going.
If you'll excuse me, I need to go contemplate a hot shower.
Guess I should probably put points into the vending machine since I'm buying ammo. Lower right. Of course it's like the first one I'm gonna go to. Is that the body? To Nandy. Mr. Nandy, sorry to bother you about this, but something foul's leaking in the apartment upstairs. I don't know what Cecilia's doing up there, but she works for you, right? Do you think you could talk to her about it? Isaac, can you please keep your windows shut? As I've tried to explain, leaving them open, especially when you've got food out, invites mantis swarms. A mantis swarm infestation is everyone's problem. Braxton, I know you keep odd hours. I know because I've heard you coming and going at all times of the day and night, haha. But maybe you should try to close your door a little more quietly. I have rather sensitive nerves, and every time I hear your door, I think we're in the middle of another Amber Heights. Interesting. Okay, is this the dead? Oh, they moved. So they're not dead? I don't know. Okay. Said room on the right.
Oh! Oh, sorry. Just spooked me, was all.
You knew we were walking into a crime scene. Jeez. Victim. Tossball betting slip. This betting slip lists some increasingly bold wagers against made for a team called Mostly Colonists. It's from left field tossing betting. Tossball betting. Well, they're dead, so they don't need their stuff. Several ragged outfits, all the same color and cut, were stuffed into the suitcase. So he made bets he couldn't cover, decided to try and leave, but before he could, somebody took him out. Okay.
Whatever you do, don't mention it. You'll never hear the end of it.
Oh, Laura.
You startled me. Don't sneak up on a person like that, huh?
Why is everyone in town so jumpy?
Who's jumpy? I'm not jumpy.
Okay. Well, I am aiming an assault rifle at her. Okay, so I think they're just sleeping. They're not dead. Oh, Inferno Scythe? Yes, please. She's not gonna wake up. I'm taking all her stuff. Alrighty. Just seeing if anybody's got names. That's the dude we just talked to. A workbench. Zeng Shuren.
Well, well. The only new folk I ever see in town are sublight runners from Fallbrook. But you don't look like one of Catherine's. What can I get you?
Trade?
If you don't see it, I don't got it. Don't go asking.
Don't really need anything else. Ooh, I'm getting low on money though.
Do your part to support the local economy. What can I... All sales are fine.
Let me sell stuff I don't need. Pretty necklace if you're into that sort of thing. Sell junk. So, screw it, I'm just gonna sell everything. Ooh. Dang, that does a lot of damage. Okay. Oh man, I need to earn some money. There's so many people around here. What are you doing?
Ma'am, please. Oh, thank you for stopping. Everyone acts like nothing's wrong, like my little boy isn't at risk of being eaten by some vile creature. Please, you have to help me get my little Tucker back. He ran away and is going to get himself killed. Oh, I just know a raptidon is melting him with acid as we speak.
Jeez. Child's missing. Where do you last see him?
Oh, I just knew you were a good person. Agnes, I said, this is the woman to save your
Okay,
little
where
Ducky.
is he?
And I was right. He ran out into the wilderness a few days ago. I warned him about the raptidons, mantisaurs, and marauders, the toxic sulfur pools, and poisonous plants, but he didn't listen.
Oh, law, Captain. A youngster won't last long in a place like this.
She's kind of old to have a child.
Please, won't you go and find my boy?
Why would he run away?
He's been pining for an adventure. Says he's tired of living cooped up behind the walls. But he doesn't understand how dangerous it is out there. I warned him. A raptidon would snap him up first chance it got. I just know one's ripped his arm off and
Graphic lady.
out of his sweet little fingers. He should have listened to his mama. I promised I'd keep him safe here with me.
Where would he have gone?
He's been listening to those awful broadcasts that the iconoclasts put out. I begged Sanjar to put a stop to them, but did he? No! And now I just know my boys run off to Amber Heights. That is, if a manta queen hasn't spooled out and eaten his
Jeez.
entrails for breakfast already.
You've got an imagination, lady. What were you saying about
Those
Iconoclast?
low-life degenerates, leading innocent boys into a life of danger. Oh, they make it sound so exciting. Like it's noble to risk it all out there, fighting for the greater good. How noble is it to worry your loved ones? Not at all, I say. But still they preach their sermons of anarchy and rebellion to anyone who listened. If they weren't holed up in Amber Heights, I'd knock them all upside the head.
Where's Amber Heights?
That old settlement, southwest of Stellar Bay. I don't know which is worse, the thought of my son shacking up with the nutty iconoclasts, or that he never made it. Sprats could be nesting in his rotting body alongside the road as we speak.
Okay, lady, I get it.
Or
Okay,
maybe Marauders
I get it. Yeah,
pulled all
I
his teeth
got
out,
it.
crushed him into their drugs and made him snort them. Oh, the things that could happen to my sweet baby.
Oh, lady, you need a chill pill.
Thank you. Oh, I know he'll be safe now that someone's able to fetch him home. You look for him in Amber Heights, you hear? It's down the road southwest of town. I'm sure he made it that far. I just know it. And if you find any of them iconoclasts indoctrinating my boy, you punch them in the mouths. Tell them what I think of them luring little boys away from their mamas. It's immoral.
Alrighty then. Weapons from the void. Let's see if that brings up anything here. It's that way. Family matter. Huh.
You don't seem to like traveling with us much.
Why in the architect's name would you say that?
It's just that you're real grouchy. Kinda all the time.
I'm not grouchy. I'm just irritated by inane questions.
Yeah, see, when you say it like that, it makes me wonder.
Fair point.
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on all the latest tossball games.
She's
So who do you
probably
follow?
the better.
Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial Age Mammoths. I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why everyone's making such a fuss about you? But what are you doing on Monarch?
I have to do those because it gets me XP. It's for a Goodwill tour.
Maybe we're not so isolated as I thought. So, what can I do for you?
Found this bedding slip in Denman's apartment.
Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a few days. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow, even if he did have terrible teeth.
You know, did it or
I
not?
don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay getting rowdy over tossball games. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble with one of them.
Thanks for the tip.
Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can do.
Okay. 100 meters this way. I don't know who this Sanjar person is. Bennett, you have a name.
Laws. Can a man enjoy the smooth menthol flavor of a Stogie Slim in peace?
Got a lot of brass for a man doing absolutely
What I am
nothing.
doing, ma'am, is enjoying the moment. It's so rare that I can seize one apart from the jabbering masses of this wretched place.
Oh, he's a poet.
And how should they know what they're missing? I recall when Stellar Bay was a proper board-affiliated town with regular shipments of Auntie Cleo's best and all the cereals. Before Sanjar took over MSI and got us all booted.
Sandra got them booted? but now you're all free from the board.
Yes, free to wallow in squalor together. Free to squabble with the iconoclasts over a raptidon-infested hellhole. Look, you're making me melancholy. Is there something you wanted?
Not yet, but I'm sure there will be eventually.
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth.
All I'm saying is, our lives are predestined upon a path that is only visible in retrospect. If I could have predicted my life path would lead to prison, and thus avoided it, wouldn't I have done?
Hey! What are you doing here? This is our secret alley.
Our secret alley.
Berta already pissed by those crates to market.
I know you murdered Isaac.
Listen, that purple-toothed twerp
Yeah,
had
he
it
admitted
coming.
it.
Not that anyone has proof. And not that it's any of your business.
I'm making it my business.
Oh yeah? What are you saying exactly?
You've bullied people long enough. You'll clear out and never come back.
Wow. Most of the pencil pushers around here cave as soon as you look at them funny. Fine, we're going. This ain't worth it.
I probably should have just attacked them so I could have gotten their loot. And there's no one else back here, so... Reloads nice and fast. Alright, so that one's done. Okay, so I gotta tell Sandra. I guess I should meet with him anyway. Cecilia works with Sandra. So, in here?
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries,
Like your
producers
hair.
and purveyors of the finest salt tuna in Halcyon. What can I do for you today?
Grim asked me to check about his hospital
You know,
poster.
Sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about it a week ago. I still don't know anything about it, but if you want to help him, Velma's the one to ask. She's in the warehouse. But I'll warn you, Grim wore her patience thin a long time ago.
You having money
Or
troubles?
is he not paying you on account of how he tried to fix the thing his own self and busted it even worse, and then said you wasn't
Damn,
fixing it fast
Parvati.
enough, so he's docking your wages again? Not that I got any prior experience with such.
Yeah.
Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck on raptidon acid.
Acid? Why?
Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings.
You got a
Whatever
weird...
Sebastian has in stock, really.
You have a weird fixation, lady.
So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else.
I reckon she's got a little bit of a squish on this fella.
You
He's
think?
sort of a strong, silent type. Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff. And some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell.
Just ask him on a date.
I couldn't. What if he says no?
Then he says
Hey,
no.
Maybe you could ask him for me. I mean, a no would still be bad, but it won't be quite as embarrassing if you ask.
Why?
Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose real slowly. I'd better get back to work.
What do you see in Sebastian?
He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on inside his head that you have no idea about.
Generally that's
Plus,
the idea with
he's
everybody.
got great legs. It's hard to find a man who doesn't skimp on lower body exercises.
Leg day. You really want to be with someone you can't talk to?
You think that's what I'm looking for? You're funny.
There are other fish in the sea, Cecilia.
Not in Stellar Bay. Everyone else who isn't taken either smells like salt tuna or they're my boss. Besides, a man with a good smile and a proportionate upper to lower body ratio isn't something to pass up.
That's all I need to know.
Sorry, sometimes I get carried away.
Talk to you later. Sandra, I need to talk to you.
New business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
I really like her
Yield
hair. I
improvements
think
of
I might want to
26.7% not quicken the pulse.
do that to my
How
own
can
hair.
32% cost savings not
Purple
moisten
with
the
gray
loins?
mixed in. That looks nice.
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me.
It's very generous of you.
Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Yeah,
Noted.
one of those types.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now, who sent you? Rizzo's,
I
perhaps?
think you're
Or
gonna
Auntie
be
Cleo
disappointed.
herself? Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate. But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you aren't here for Saltuna.
Hey, it could always be both if I had to eat one more. I'm gonna stab someone. Afraid not.
Oh, a shame. I'd been saving a bottle of iceberg-aged whiskey for an occasion like this.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments.
Wow, thank you for letting me know about that
livening up our
second one.
advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board.
Sounds like a personal problem I don't exactly hoping to
Thanks
accomplish.
to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
Why not embrace
You talk
it?
like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes a rather pretty slogan. But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how you protect yourself
I
from
like
a
this
hostile
game.
galaxy,
It plays both
starts to
sides
lose
of the
its charm.
fence.
Exactly. Intellectualism fuels the train to mankind's future, but the tracks the
I
train
still
runs
recognize
on
his
are
voice.
forged from practicality.
Mr. Vicar, I don't want to be rude, but I don't think that means anything.
Yes, it's as though the good vicar has plucked the very words from my brain.
So what do you mean to do about it?
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Returning to the board is your only chance if you hope to survive here on Monarch. That doesn't mean it'll be easily achievable.
Indeed not. No worthwhile plan was ever simple. That's what I always say.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
This lady knows what's going on.
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, she'd be wasted in data entry. The plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach, and the first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended.
How long did it take you to figure out you needed to defend your city?
Not long, but the devil is always in the details. And the salient detail here is a Bolt 52 cartridge. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Bolt 52 sounds useful. What is it?
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance.
What's the other part of your plan?
I'll need to gather some supplemental materials, but I mustn't get ahead of myself.
You do tend to do that.
The Bolt 52 will be in the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. And these days, it's overrun with marauders and raptidons.
Then I guess I'll go get your... Oh, God, I wish I had more perception. I guess I'll go get your 52.
Do be careful. I've lost more than a few people to marauders and raptidons out there. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Or take a copy for blackmail.
What can I do for you?
Is there anything else I need to talk to?
I see. And was his delivery of the MSI authorized greeting up to snuff?
It was.
Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his review. What else can I do for you? But that's terrible.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm glad to hear you've dealt with them. They've been causing quite a bit of trouble around town. I've been consumed with other matters of late, but I would have dealt with them eventually.
Of course you would have.
Of course I would have. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated. Please consider this payment for your services.
I have questions about MSI in the good old days.
That I keep such meticulous notes.
Oh, goodness. How did MSI get kicked off the board in the first place?
I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
You initiated your own removal?
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. Back then, it was known as Terra 1.
Terra 1 and Terra 2. I see the board put their best people on that one.
Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of terraforming was to make them Earth-like.
Here, though, the results were mixed.
And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out.
But not MSI, right?
Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to.
And how did that work out?
Most regard Monarch as a lost cause. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up.
Let's see. How forward-thinking of you.
But it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Ms. Holcomb is our endlessly optimistic crew hand. It's good for the captain's morale.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms.
Who is us and we that you keep talking about?
Oh, well, there were surely other junior executives with more open minds, though none of them had the temperament to handle the paperwork.
Uh-huh.
But I was keeping my tone flat and maintaining eye contact. You weren't supposed to notice I was avoiding the subject.
This is why you've never been good with presentations, sir.
Very well. Many, many years ago, Graham Bryant and I used to be collaborators of sorts.
So he helped who? Yeah.
Graham Bryant. He leads a group of extremists out in Amber Heights. But he used to be as much a part of the corporate machinery as any of us. Much as he likes to forget it.
So he helped you make a case to senior executives.
Indeed. For all the good it did. MSI's then leadership wasn't enthusiastic. They insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2, along with everyone else.
Yeah, here you are. I hope you gave them the finger. Yeah, here you are.
Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages.
That's low even for them. Why would they do that? Why would they do that?
I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently.
I could see that. So why do you want it back on the board? What's a hazard clause?
It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
But wait, what happens to the folks stuck on the wrong side of dangerous?
Well, I'm afraid the welfare of a few hundred people is too minor a figure into the board's risk assessments.
And they invoked it on Monarch?
Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way.
So you used to work with Graham. Why not mention that earlier?
As far as I'm concerned, the less said about Graham, the better. Graham seemed like a reasonable man years ago. We both agreed that MSI's treatment of its workers was untenable. I thought reforms would be enough. I didn't realize you wanted to abolish the corporate system entirely.
Why do you want back on the board?
Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Without the board, chaos would overtake the system. Working within the established order isn't a principle to snub one's nose at, Captain.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation.
Is it worth going? Seems like anything's better than corporate yoke. Can't follow you for practice. Yeah.
I'm not a man to put pride before progress. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
Leverage?
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes,
I want her
yes,
hair. That's
it'll
it.
be easier to explain
get her
once
hair.
we have the Bolt 52. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations. What can I do for you?
Anything else? Gotta go. Okay. 79 meters that way
Are you
is...
in jail, Mr. Max? And you were our vicar?
Yes, but as I've repeatedly said, I was assigned there as a vicar. I was not a prisoner.
Yeah, I don't believe
I
that.
just can't believe you'd lie.
I was not lying. It had no
Oh,
bearing on my
gone.
ability to...
Let's see. Flowers for Sebastian.
minister
Okay.
to my flock, and was therefore not worth mentioning.
Hello, stranger. Can I interest you in a raptidon tongue? Or maybe some canid toenails?
So
You
weird.
look like a woman who's looking for some mostly fresh animal parts.
Mostly fresh. Why would I want any of that?
I don't know. Celia usually buys whatever I have, and Mr. Pickett seemed real interested. So I thought maybe I was onto something.
Mr. Pickett? Franklin Pickett from Edgewater?
That's him. He'd been here years, but he always talked about going back to Edgewater one day.
Parvati, you know who he's talking
Sure.
about?
Mr. Pickett used to run the community center outside Edgewater. He had this grand idea to make it a museum for halcyon life. As my dad told it, Mr. Pickett was always going on about getting a manta queen for the last display. He left the Vale, gosh, years ago.
He came to Stellar Bay years ago, just before the board cut us off. Ended up stuck here. He was always real interested in our monsters. Manta queens, especially.
Of course. Have you seen Manta Queen?
Sure. They're real big. Hard to miss them.
Where have you seen a Manta Queen?
Well, I could send you to the same place I sent Mr. Pickett. But I haven't seen him in a few weeks. To tell true, I'm starting to get a bit worried about him.
Captain, can we look for him? I'd feel awful if somebody from home was in trouble and we didn't do nothing.
Tell you what. I'll tell you where I sent Mr. Pickett if you promise to look for him. Help him out if he's got himself in trouble. Fair deal?
He's dead.
Thanks, Captain.
All right then. Leave town through the southern gate, the one right here, and head past the abandoned ruins. Last Mannequin I saw was in the wilds out that-a-ways. Could be Mr. Pickett still out there too.
Oh, that's right. On Edgewater, there was that museum that said they were looking for a Manta Queen. Let's talk about Cecilia.
Huh. I haven't seen her in a few days, but I've been meaning to ask her how that Raptidon acid is working out. I hope it's working okay, because no one else really seems interested in this stuff.
Would you consider going on a date with her?
Wait, I see what's going on. She put you up to this so she could get a discount.
No.
Oh, no, that's not it at all. She's smitten with you. You smited her. Smote? Smoot?
She's so cute.
Don't get me wrong. I'd like to give her a discount. She's a real fine lady. Always talks nice and slow so I understand. But if I give her one, I won't hardly make a bit, on account of no one else having any use for Raptidon tongues.
Don't take my word for it. Go spend some time with her. I promise you won't ask for a discount.
You sound pretty sure. And she is awful nice.
Give her a chance. Give yourself a chance. Take her someplace nice.
Okay, I'll do it. Once her shift ends, we'll go someplace nice. Maybe to Chef Raymond's.
That's the spirit, Sebastian. Be yourself.
Give Cecilia the good
Between you and me,
news.
Captain, I'm not sure Miss Celia knows him too well, but we can hope, right? I want them to be happy.
You're so sweet, Parvati.
Have you talked to Sebastian yet? What did he say?
Yes.
Okay, but how did he say it? Did he sound excited? Or like he was just agreeing to it? Was he like, yay, a date with Celia? I've secretly been waiting for this. Or was it more, sure, I don't have anything else going
More
on?
like the latter. Just don't ask him for any discounts.
Not to worry. If I never buy another Raptidon tongue, it'll be too soon. Ah, look at me going on. I'm sure you've got other things to do, and Mr. Nandi's giving me that back-to-work look. Anyhow, thank you.
Okay. So, I'm gonna go ahead and save it. You save. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. I'll pick up later and actually leave town, see what's outside of town. Catch you guys later.